because it is like there are many services in Azure, so it is not possible or not required for anyone to get familiar with all the services. That is not the thing. It depends on the type of work people are involved, type of services. We'll come to that also. uh, Before that, I wanted to repeat few things, that for Microsoft Drive specifically and for other drives as well, two things are very important. One is your project and another is your certification. Okay, so if you are looking for Microsoft Drive, then they are definitely going to ask these two things. What you can do for project, you can take the project that maybe you have done as part of your ESD work. So you can work on that project only, and you can make that project with some better features, or means try to complete it instead of starting something from scratch. It would be good to whatever project you have done, maybe as a team or individually also you can do, but you can take that project and you can move it forward and get ready with the your plan, your documentation, what exactly you have done so far, what you are looking to do in the next part of it. So that way you get ready with your project. Mention it in the CV also, in as part of project work, project detail, and get ready with some if it is being asked to you that what project you have done, can you brief about your project. So if that type of question is being asked, then get ready for that answer. Maybe 2-3 minutes time you can practice also that exactly how you are going to talk about your project, because if you don't get ready, then maybe at that time you may not remember all the relevant things, and your answer cannot be too long. So it will be always good to make a just a practice. Just you just see that if really it is being asked about the project, then how you are going to answer. Maybe in 2-3 minutes you have to tell the maximum thing. Okay, and any technology you are using, and say one domain, in some domain you are working, so they may ask some questions related to that. Means whether the domain or area where you are working in the project, and the technology, means they may ask you that which language or which database or which platform you have used. So whatever you are using, then they may ask some questions based on that. So you should be ready with answer on those things, because if you tell them that I have done a project on this thing and you cannot answer the question, then it is really negative. Okay, I am just telling this not for Microsoft Drive, but for all drives, whatever drive you are going to attend maybe in the near future. So from now onwards, make it ready. Means in fourth year you will do one project that is for the final year project. For both the semester you have to work. So that time maybe you can think of something new, but for this duration, when you are maybe before you enter into the fourth year, whatever placement drives you are going to face. So I think for that place it would be good if you can showcase your ESD project and try to work on the project so that it comes to some good shape. Okay, because if you start something from scratch, then it takes some time at least to get into a shape. So that is about project. And for certification, Microsoft and many other companies are there nowadays who are strongly they are looking for some certification. So any certification you have done from NPTEL or Coursera, so just make a list of these certifications. You can have one. The certificates also should be available with you. And if someone asks you that what certifications you have done, you should be able to mention the exact names, sometimes, that what is the area that you have done your certification. And then some questions from that part. So make sure that if you are writing any certification details, that yes, I have done this certification, then you should know that, means, say if you have done a certification on Java or Python or database, then you should be able to answer questions from that area. Because if you mention that I have a certification, and then if you can't answer questions from that area, then it is again going to be very much negative for you. So make sure that you are writing your certifications, and then also it is important that you know about the certification, means what is the purpose of the certification, what exactly is being covered in the certification, and some questions maybe. So this way you have to be ready. So if you have done some certification, say you have taken some downs from somewhere and you just passed the certification, but you don't know anything about that, then it is always good that you don't mention it at all. So if you are mentioning the certifications, then you should be knowledgeable about the certification. Okay, so please make sure that you are working in these two areas, that is your project and certification. Get ready with all the documentation, get ready with all the knowledge that you should have, anyone should have who have worked in that project or who have completed the certification, and mention the details in your resume, and when asked you should be ready to answer, so you can practice. I hope it's clear, these 2 points. Any question, anyone on this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. So let us go ahead. I will share my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, Shubhendu.
Ma'am, I have a question. Like, unlike the NPTEL one, when we do any certification course from, let's say, Udemy or other third-party websites, we don't get any exam to give. So, are those certificates similarly valuable? If I do a certificate course in Java, but I know
Uh,
everything, but I don't give an exam, but I know everything about Java, so will that be valuable if I provide that certificate?
no, no, they look for some certification. Actually, if you means not only for fresher jobs, I will tell you that nowadays for even for the lateral entries where people have experience, they are moving from one company to another. That place also certification has some value. Even some companies are nowadays they are mentioning that, means if you have this particular certification, then only they will allow you to even sit for the interview. So of course certification has its own value, means you may know in any technology, but if certification is there, then it may have its own value, so you have to go for it. And regarding the different certifications, I know that now there are many organizations who provide certification like Udemy, Unacademy, I know. Means of course you can mention if you have done the certification, but what I mentioned, that NPTEL, Coursera, these are some certifications I have heard that companies give more importance. But yes, it is okay if you, whatever certification you have done, if you think that really it was some worth, means you are the best person to judge it, that how much effort you had to put for the certification. So if it is really hard, then people will give weightage, because everyone knows that what is the hard part of any certification. Any certification you have done, you have the valid certificate, you have appeared for the exam, you got certificate, you can mention it in your CV. But make sure that whatever certification you are mentioning, you should have knowledge in that area. That is very important. If you don't know the subject matter, but still you got the certification somehow, it is better not to mention it.
Okay, ma'am. No, I was actually going for the
Okay.
NPTEL one, but now that's not possible because the time is up. So I have to
Oh,
either
okay.
go for Coursera or the Udemy Unacademy ones.
Okay. So Coursera, I think it has some value. People give it importance, I have seen. So I think you can try Coursera if something is possible in that area.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So let us move on. So we will go to Azure. Before that, let me sign into the portal. And another thing is like try to create your account if possible in Azure. It is free for 1 month, as I had mentioned. So, of course, your this credit card details are required for creating a free account also, but it is not going to charge you anything. So you can safely create and use it for 1 month, so that you can explore the services, because until unless you explore the services, you can't have the confidence, means your learning is not complete. So that is important. Okay, Nilanjan. If we need to verify or say that we need to wait for the free procedure service, what are supposed to do? Yes, of course. Means if you want to gain any certificate, maybe you have to pay. So if the amount is okay for you, then go for it. Means otherwise, if it is a huge amount, maybe it may not be possible for you. But in many places, it is something. Means if it is 500 or 1,000 rupees or something, which if it is possible to afford, then you can go for the certificate, because companies are now looking for certificates, that I have seen, not only for fresher jobs but for any experienced job also. They are mentioning, so these certifications always have the value. So if possible, see what is possible, what is affordable, of course, then go ahead for that. Okay. Fine. So this is the portal. If you create your free account, you will also get similar type of portal. And in this portal, there are the services. Some links are given. So if you have an account, the advantage is that you can be familiar with it. You can click on something. It is very easy. Most of the time it is step by step process is there through as it is in web page. So it is like you can try to understand what need to do, and you can go to the next steps like that. Okay, so first thing is, whenever you are creating any Azure account, the first thing required is the subscription. So you need a subscription to work in the portal. Means if you want to use, you want to avail any Azure service, then first thing is you have to create your own subscription. Now, free subscription will be available for 30 days, and once the free subscription is over, then you have to go for the pay as you go subscription. You can see here. So for me, it is pay as you go subscription. And what pay as you go subscription means, that say for 1 month you used the free one, and then you will get some intimation that your free certificate, free subscription is going to be over. Yes, I agree with you, Nilanjan, but you can understand that I don't have any, means I don't have any access in this type of thing, so I really can't help you. Okay.
Actually, it did provide like for edX course, I guess it did provide for that, and also Coursera, I think. There are some courses which are free, and free
Oh,
subscription
it
where you
is
can
if
complete
it is
that
free,
within
it is
unlimited period
possible.
of time.
Whatever you are getting, try to take the advantage, and then maybe sometimes we have to pay ourselves also. See, like I am using this portal, where mostly I use it for my students, but I pay for the same, because
Ma'am, none of the
like
videos
it.
were accessible in that case.
Okay, okay, for Coursera.
Yes, the free one.
Okay, okay. No, I understand. I think it is better. Maybe you can talk to the HOD also, if he has some access to higher management. They may, at least he can communicate that to higher management, that that is what the students are looking for. Definitely, uh, that way you can check. But for now, I think if at least one certificate is also possible, try to do. Okay, may not be a lot, I can understand, but if it is possible for one certificate, then aim for it, because Microsoft and few other companies, they are always looking for some certificate. Because NPTEL, I know that, I think it is 1,000 rupees or something for the certificates. And what I heard, that if you get a percentage of marks, certain percentage of marks, then they reimburse even, that they will give you the money back. So that way, try to leverage those opportunities. Okay, fine. So when your free subscription is over, then you have to go for pay as you go subscription. Pay as you go means you don't have to pay any fixed amount monthly. It is something like that. It is like that you have whatever you use for the 1 month of duration of 1 month, based on your usage you have to pay. So that is why it is known as pay as you go subscription. So you have to pay when you use something. For a month, if I don't use any service, then I don't have to pay anything. So that is how it works. So that is the concept of subscription. And you can see one more thing here, that is known as resource group. Okay, I will show you one diagram. Okay, so you can see, so this diagram I have taken from Microsoft website only. So first thing is, you have to create one account. Under the account, you can have subscriptions, and you can have multiple subscriptions as well. Means depending on your requirement, you may have one subscription, you may have multiple subscriptions. And all your billing information, means the payment that you have to do for the services you have taken, is a postpaid service kind of thing. So every month, the invoice is generated. Okay, I can show you here. You can see there is a cost management. So if I go to cost management, so here you can see the invoices. So there are other links also, you can go to the links, you can check what is there. So it is something like, you can see that they they give you the invoice for every month, and you can see the due amount is mentioned, like I pay every month, so that's why it is showing all the 00 kind of thing. So for each subscription, means in your account, if you have multiple subscriptions, so invoice will be generated for each of the subscription. So it may be, the requirement is that, say from the single Azure account, you are handling the projects for multiple clients. So in that case, you can understand that they have their own set of services that they are going to use. So they have to pay for their services. That's why it would be better if you can have one subscription for each of the client, and the invoice will be generated individually for them. So that is one place where you can have multiple subscriptions, because you can control the access also, like which services, which person have, which user has access, that also you can control in the subscription level. And when you have a subscription, say for us, say for me, I have only one subscription, because I am doing it for some learning purpose, testing purpose. So it is not like there is a concept of resource group. So whenever you are trying to create any resource, if you remember, for Azure SQL database, when we tried to create it, we had to mention the subscription and the resource group. So resource group is nothing but a logical grouping of the resources. So whenever you are trying to create any resource, you have to mention the subscription name and the resource group name. So that is the hierarchy you can see here, that one account, it may have multiple subscription. Each subscription may have one, at least one or multiple resource groups, and the resources are created under the resource groups. Okay, so that is how, that is the internal architecture of the resources. Okay, fine. So account creation, I have already told you, I think. These details, you know that Azure is an ever expanding set of cloud services. It helps organizations to meet business challenges. It helps to build, manage, and deploy applications on a massive global network. So it is a global network. That means that it has it is having the presence all over the world. Whenever you are trying to create any resource, then you will see that it is asking that in which location you want to create your resource. So if you are, say, first time you are creating database, say you are creating Azure SQL database, so it doesn't matter for you that at any location it is fine. But if you are really say you have a front end application which is already getting accessed in India, means all the users are from India. Now this application is referring one database. Okay, now this database is say if it is in US, if it is in Europe, then what will happen that that is also possible to access that data, but that time you have a lot of network traffic, right? Because every time for every request and every response it has to travel. So your performance may be impacted, and the cost will be more, because a lot of traffic is there, so a lot of communication is required. So instead of that, if you could create your database in India itself, then what would happen that the users will be very close to the database, and they can be accessed fast, and means the cost will also be less. So that's why this global network is very much useful. One use of it, that I can create my resources near to the applications who are going to use that service. Okay. Azure portal can be used to easily manage Azure services. So you have seen the portal, you are now familiar with the portal. So many links are given, all the lot of menu items are given. So if you are not even familiar with the portal, you can try to click here and there, and you can get some idea at least. So that is very easy to manage from the portal. Can host existing applications. So it's like any application which was already running in on-premise system, then there are a lot of tools and services which can help you to migrate. Means you can take any application, and you can just make some few changes, and the application will start running from your cloud platform. So that is very important. Otherwise, for any existing organization, it is not possible to move everything. Okay, so that's why it is a very good feature. And these are some examples of the services. That is IaaS, it is infrastructure as a service, where you are looking for infrastructure, that is virtual machine, storage, networking. These are examples. PaaS services are app services, database services, cognitive services. PaaS means where you need a platform to write your own code for development purpose. So when you used SQL database, what was your requirement? You wanted a database, say university database, where you wanted to write your code. That is, you wanted to create table, you wanted to write some queries, you wanted to create some stored procedures, function triggers, etc. So that is something where I need for development, but really you are not interested to get a machine, right? Means it is okay if someone does not give you a machine, but just connection to a database instance where you can write your program. So that requirements, when that requirements are there, then they are known as PaaS, that is platform as a service. And software as a service means when you are just using it, means it is not like that you want to write any code, but you just want to use. So the best example is Office. So we all use Office, but it is like we only use it. We don't write any code to change the behavior, that how they say Word is going to work or Excel is going to work. So that is the example. The best way to remember these three things is the in the last presentation that I had shared with you, the study material, where one diagram was there at the end. So if you can have a look, I think you can always remember, because this is a question that can be asked in your interviews. Okay, I have covered these things. Support options are available. So who is now trying to join? So many support options are available. So means you may not know. It is like what happens that when you uh, work in any on-premise system in your organization, then they generally have one that one networking team or support team. So what is the purpose of the team? That whenever there is a problem, then we can refer that, means um, we can refer that team so that they can help us to get it done. I may have some problem in my machine, I may have some problem in the network, it is the machine is slow, some software is not working, so you can understand that so many problems may happen. So this is being handled by the support team. So when you are working in the uh, this cloud platform, then who is going to help you? So if anything is not working, so you can take the support option from Azure, and based on your requirement, or you can go for different levels of support, and you have to pay accordingly. Okay. I have posted one link in your chat box, so please fill this. This is the attendance for the class. So before we end the class, you should complete this form. Okay. Okay. Another important thing that we are going to discuss, that is the different cloud providers. So in the first class itself, I told you that there are the three major cloud providers. And next day onwards, please try to join in time. Okay, I will not allow anyone who comes late because it gets really difficult. Okay. So Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Microsoft Cloud Platform is known as Microsoft Azure, and for Amazon, it is known as AWS or Amazon Web Service, and for Google, it is GCP, that is Google Cloud Provider. So, if you are going for any job interview for Microsoft, then you should know about Azure more, and means you know what I think I told you earlier also, that these three platforms are the basic working principle is same in all the three platforms. Most of the services are also same. Maybe they may have some different names, but how the services work, these principles are same. So it is like very common in the industry where people are moving from one platform to another. Means maybe they work sometime for in Azure, then in AWS, then in Google. So it is like, okay, if you know one platform well, if you know the basic concepts, then if required you can move to other platforms also. Now it is like always comes in questions also, in job interviews also, like the comparison. Okay. Now it is not like any official site, so I don't want to share these things with you, but what you can do, you can in Google you can search that what is the difference between this Azure, AWS, and GCP. So you will get many blogs where people write their experiences and some points are written. So you can check those. You will have some idea. Maybe sometimes some points may not be right also, but overall it is you should know the basic things, that AWS came first in the market, so they have a good volume of projects, of course, because they were the fast player. And then Azure came. Okay. And as soon as Azure came, it started becoming popular. And why? Because first of all, it was less costly compared to AWS. It had, means it is have nowadays, at least it is having more global presence, means it has its system all over the world. And third thing is that it is a Microsoft service, so there are many people who work in some Microsoft, say Windows operating system, say SQL Server database. So whoever has working experience in some Microsoft product, they find it convenient and easy to use, because they are familiar with the platform, that is Microsoft. So that is one reason that it became very popular in the market in very short span of time. And then like any other Microsoft product, it is very easy to use, and it has a very good documentation. That's why it makes very easy to start working. Maybe means people who don't know Azure, they can also learn with the help of self learning, and they can excel in their work. So these are some advantages. One is the Microsoft background, another is the cost, another is the very ease of use, documentation. So those things made Azure a very fast, means it has actually seen a very fast growth. So, and okay, I will come to Google also. So GCP came after Azure, so you can see it is the last player in the market. So it is actually growing. Okay, it has a growing market, though it is not as compared to AWS and Azure, but it is also growing very fast. Because Google Cloud, it is like the cost wise, it means as the services are more or less same, but Google Cloud has some means the cost structure is such that it is really very much cost effective. You can, if you can plan properly, if you can use the platform properly, then it is actually less costly as compared to AWS and Azure. And it is also offering so many services, the global presence, because Google already has a lot of setup, right? It has many products which are being used by a lot of people all over the world. So that is also another advantage for Google. So it has just started. So that's why maybe as market share, compared to market share, maybe AWS is fast, then Azure, then Google. But that doesn't mean that it is like one is better than another, not like that. They have their own advantages. So just remember that whatever company you are going for job interviews, you may emphasize on more on that product from that company, of course, but you don't need to say anything negative about the other products. Okay, it is not being taken as a um, good way of discussion. So always make it very, means you don't, you can praise some product, that is okay, but you don't need to say any negative word about any other product. Okay, you should mention that yes, they are also good, they also have their own advantages, like that. So people ask these questions. Okay, always if this question comes in any job interviews, wherever this cloud platform is involved, they usually ask these questions, that how these cloud providers are different from one another, and why you are choosing this cloud platform. So remember two things, that you don't need to compare, but you can tell the distinct features about the three providers. And whatever product that you are there for the job, say you are coming for Azure, Azure developer position, then you should know more about Azure, and you should give some good points about it. Okay, so that is the comparative analysis is required. So a lot of web pages are there, you can have a look, you can read, many people are writing their own experience also. So from there you can have some idea. Okay. mm, Fine. So that's it today. Okay, one more thing I will tell. There is a concept of resource manager. Okay, what is resource manager? It is like when you create any resource, you have seen. I can go quickly. I will just complete it here after this topic, and try to join on time. Okay, today we had to wait a lot, because you all mostly students joined late. Oh, okay. So if I go to the home page, there is a create a resource. Okay, from there we can start creating a resource. If I write Azure SQL, Then uh, so it is Azure SQL. So you can see that I can start creating from here, and then I have some choices. I can go further. I can press create. So with the step by step process, I can create my resource. I can delete my resource. I can modify my resource. So this is being handled internally by the component that is known as resource manager. So the resource manager is the service which is actually helping to create, delete, modify the resources. So that is working internally so that we can work on our resources. Okay, so regarding the services, we will go in detail in the next class. So for now we can close it here, but uh, at your end you should try to create your own Azure account, try to get familiar with the terms, and Azure SQL database and Cosmos DB you already know. So you can try to create those resources, go through them. Uh, at least you can always mention that I know these two resources, and if you have time, then we will go in more detail maybe in the upcoming classes. Okay, all of you have filled this Google form. Is it done?
Yes, ma'am.
So, so complete it, please, Asaf.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I have seen these Coursera course and all those. They are including
Hmm.
Python and all for the Azure part. So, like, we don't have so much of time that we cannot do Python and all in 1 month of time.
Hmm.
So,
So try some NPTL. You all have done some registration, right?
NPTL
NPTL.
have some time slot. Like, we have overcome that time slot. Like, no, there is no upcoming examinations for Azure and cloud computing. All
No,
slots are
no,
booked.
not Azure Cloud. It is not required. I am just telling that any certification is good. Means whatever technologies you know so far, it's not like that. Microsoft is only looking for Microsoft certification. Not like that. Anything you have done, any programming, whatever database, whatever is being completed so far in your semesters, based on that, any certification is also good. Any technical certification, okay, not like Azure. How you can do Azure certification now? You have to read a lot, right? Then only you will be able to do
Ma'am, can it be on DSA?
anything,
Like
any
okay.
subject, anything that is part of BTech curriculum. If you have done, then you should showcase it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, it's not means you can aim for Azure certification, but that will take a time, significant amount of time. First you have to learn, you have to practice, then only you can do. But any certification on anything, any subject, any language that you already know, so that you can showcase, and that you can means be prepared if it is being asked. Okay, then Uh, okay, so we'll close it here. Try to do these things, and we'll meet in the next class, and we'll continue. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you give the link once more?
Link is there in your
No, ma'am. Actually,
chat
I had
box.
to. My phone battery was low, so I had to join from my laptop, ma'am. So that is why.
Okay, okay. So it is there. It is there. Just
Thank you,
check
ma'am.
it and just fill it first. Huh? Okay. Thank you all. See you.